Let's talk about something that affects all of us: science, health, and the consequences of ignoring both. Over the past few years, we've seen something truly alarming happen in American politics: a systematic, full throttle assault on science itself. And this attack isn't just rhetorical. It is a purge of experts, a sidelining of data, and deliberate undermining of agencies meant to protect us. But this wasn't some side effect of a chaotic administration. This was a choice. It was a strategy. And the mastermind? Donald Trump. Now you might ask, what's the big deal about a few dismissals here and there? Why does it matter that some scientists were replaced with corporate executives or political cronies? Well, let's take a step back. Science is supposed to be about foundation of policy, whether it's climate change, air quality, vaccines, or public health. Without science, we're just guessing. And when we're guessing, lives are at risk. That's what happens under the Trump administration. When Trump took office, it was clear that science wasn't just being ignored, it was being purged. The Environmental Protection Agency was hollowed out, the Food and Drug Administration was neutered, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention was sidelined during one of the most significant public health crises in modern history. All this was done in favor of industry interests, political cronies, and ideology. Let's start with the EPA, a government agency that, under previous administrations, has done vital work of protecting the air we breathe and the water we drink. But under Trump, the agency became a shell of its former self. The man he put in charge of the EPA, Scott Pruitt, had a history of being in bed with fossil fuel industry. In fact, Pruitt's entire agenda seemed to revolve around dismantling environmental protections, cutting regulations that have been put in place to safeguard public health. The Clean Power Plan? Gone. Regulations on mercury and carbon emissions? Slashed. Public health be damned, big businesses need to thrive, and science be ignored. And this wasn't an isolated case. Take the CDC, arguably the most critical public health agency we have. From the moment the COVID-19 pandemic hit, Trump did everything in his power to undermine the CDC's guidance. While the agency was warning about masks, social distancing, and vaccines, Trump was downplaying the threat, holding rallies, and promoting dangerous misinformation. Why? Because in Trump's eyes, public health took a back seat to the economy and his own political image. It didn't help that Trump surrounded himself with people who were more interested in politics than in protecting public health. People like Dr. Scott Atlas, who had no background in epidemiology, but was suddenly given the platform to spread misinformation about the pandemic. Meanwhile, the career experts and public health leaders were sidelined or outright removed. And let's talk about the FDA for a second. This is the agency responsible for ensuring that drugs and vaccines are safe for American people. Under Trump, however, the FDA became another political pawn. Remember the rush approval of unproven drugs that Trump repeatedly pushed as a miracle cure for COVID-19? Or the pressure to fast-track the approval of a vaccine for political reasons, despite warnings from experts that it could be unsafe? The troubling part? This wasn't just a series of missteps. It was part of a clear, calculated strategy to undermine the very institutions meant to protect us. Trump didn't just ignore science, he actively worked to discredit it. And when the science didn't align with his agenda, he attacked the scientists themselves. Experts like Dr. Anthony Fauci were vilified for telling the truth while the president gave a platform to conspiracy theorists and quacks. The long-term consequences of this assault on science are still unfolding. We saw the immediate devastation during the pandemic, the loss of life, the chaos, and the confusion. But the more insidious effects, they'll last for generations. Trust in public health institutions is at an all-time low. The politicization of science has created a toxic environment where facts are treated as opinions, and experts are dismissed as enemies of the people. And that's a real problem when we're facing existential threats like climate change, pandemics, and the erosion of public health. So why does all of this matter now? Well, the damage done during the Trump's time in office isn't easily undone. We need to rebuild the trust in science, in public health, and the experts who are working to make our world safer. We need to recognize that science isn't a political tool, it's a lifeline. And if we don't support it, we're playing Russian roulette with our future. Trump's war on science isn't just an attack on facts. It is an attack on our ability to make informed decisions. It is an attack on our health, our environment, and our future. But here's the thing. It's not too late to turn things around. We need leaders who value science, who understand that evidence should guide policy, who recognize that truth isn't optional. So as we move forward, remember this. Science doesn't care about politics. It cares about facts. It cares about the truth. And if we want to build a better, safer future, we need to listen to it, no matter who's in charge.